All right, Matt. What do you have to say to that?
Yeah, not good again. Just really struggling to understand what the game plan was in the second half.
Mm.
You go, kind of go in 1-0 up, and then I thought the second half we were just so pedestrian, so slow. We let United play around us when they went 2-1 up. I know that we only had 10 minutes to go or so, but we barely touched the ball.
Mm.
Really, really, really frustrating. Yeah, I'm struggling to see where we can go now. It's a bad state of affairs. Mourinho, I think he's got to go now. I've honestly, yeah, I think he's run his course. Um, 10 losses in a season, not good. Um, Somehow we're still up there, still up with a chance of getting into the top four. The teams around us are kind of struggling a bit, but this season, this game week hasn't gone in our favour with Chelsea winning and West Ham winning, so it's going to be even more difficult.
Mm.
But if we lose the Carabao Cup final, I'm expecting a statement 10 minutes after that saying he's gone, because that's the final straw now.
Mm.
Yeah, it's difficult to pick out any positives. The substitution, I thought Lo Celso going off. I know he hasn't played a lot recently, and he's probably feeling his way back into the team. But then you bring on Sissoko, and then you bring on Bale with 10 minutes to go, trying to chase a game. Doesn't I don't know? It's bizarre. It didn't stack up to me to want to try and win the game. Yeah,
What,
really.
what what was wrong with what was the what do you think it was wrong with bringing on someone like Bale then?
Well, I think bringing on Bale was fine, but with 10 minutes to go, it's difficult for him to get into the game. I think he should have been brought on a lot sooner. If
Mm.
we're taking Lo Celso off, an attacking player, throw on Bale. Sissoko's, he's a sideways merchant. The ball's always going to go sideways, and for the majority of the time when he was on, he was covering the right back where Aurier was kind of marauding forward. He played Vinicius recently. Bring him on as well. Try and at least put pressure on that back four of United. To be
Mm.
fair to United, I thought they played very well. They looked organised. They played some really slick passing football, and it showed the difference between the teams. We were chasing that game once they went 2-1 up. We were really chasing. Actually, not even 2-1 up. The whole second half, we looked just completely off the pace. Dyer again. I've come on here before and had my piece about Dyer again. He got found out. He got turned far too easily, I think, for the third goal. Rodon
Mm.
looked good, but as a team at the moment, it's really not. It's not a good or pretty watch, and I'm struggling to pick out any positives, I'm afraid,
No, I
today.
know. Yeah, I know. I mean, I think the word that you said earlier that was actually summed up was it was pedestrian, and that's what we've seen too much this season. It's just, we get the goal up, then it's almost like let's stop playing and let's just sort of just go into jogging pace, and it is
Yeah,
pedestrian. That whole second half, you were like, we've seen this all season long. You know what's going to happen here. It's predictable.
yeah, especially with a team like Man United, who are going to come at you. They've got the players with the
Mm.
pace. Cavani, I mean, I know he's a good striker and had a good career, but I mean, he looked world class. Though we couldn't get anywhere near him.
Mm.
This is a player that's kind of in his kind of twilight years. You would have thought we'd kind of shut him out a bit better, but yeah, the second half, I really struggled to understand when you come out 1-0 up. I know
Mm.
1-0 is a really shaky lead to have anyway, but you need to try and
Mm.
just kill the game off, especially at home.
Mm.
But we just sat back, let them pass the ball around us, and we've seen it so many times.
Mm.
We've got Everton away next. If that's
Mm.
a loss, it's curtains for us. I'm afraid it's
Mm. Mm. What do you
struggling.
put it down to then? You mentioned Mourinho before, and you were saying that's it as far as you're concerned. But I mean, a lot of fans point to it's not Mourinho's fault; it's just the individual errors. I mean, what do you say is the ultimate? How would you kind of
Yeah,
dissect it?
yeah. Individual errors have been there every game. We've seen so many individual errors, giving away so many goals. But now it's at the stage where I'm struggling to see the game plan as well. Struggling to see how we can, close games out like we did today, or we've lost so many points for winning positions. And the players, I don't know if they've got the fight to play for them anymore. We're hearing more and more. It might just be gossip, but we're seeing more and more kind of rumours in the press about dressing room conflicts and players struggling to understand the methods of Mourinho. And once those things start to come out in the press more and more, you're slightly worried about the structure of the squad and what's happening in that dressing room. We can only really speculate, but once you see the gossip columns filled up, majority of the time, a lot of bits of those stories are going to be true. So yeah, I mean, it's inevitably. I've spoken to a few of my kind of Spurs friends. They're pointing their finger at Levy and Enick. I think we are stuck in a cycle with Levy and Enick. If we do get rid of Mourinho and bring in, I don't know, a Nagelsmann or Brendan Rodgers, they're going to have to work with the same structure, the same money, the same wage structure, the transfers, the bigger teams coming in for the players, without big investment. And I know that that's an easy thing and a flippant thing to say in this kind of pandemic world, with people not wanting to buy clubs at the moment. I think we're stuck in this cycle where even if we get rid of Mourinho and bring in a Nagelsmann type person, they're going to be still working to Levy and the not having the money available, going for second-rate goalkeepers. I saw a piece the other day about us going in for Sam Johnston. Now Sam Johnston's a good goalie, but he's a second-rate goalie. If we want to challenge, we need to be going for someone like Nick Pope or a top-rate Premier League goalie. I know Sam Johnson plays in the Premier League, but he's not to the standard of Nick Pope, and that's where we're struggling. We're going for these second-rate options. The transfers that we've had recently really haven't shone. I think Steve Hitchens got a lot to answer for, because in Dembele, he's done well this season. Lo Celso, I don't know if we've seen the best of Lo Celso yet. I'd still keep him. Højbjerg's been a good buy. Roden, still not sure, but he looks okay. But when we're changing defence every game, it's a struggle to get settled. But yeah, when you're getting people like Fernandes in, who unproven, Vinicius again unproven, it's a lottery. We need to go out and spend money, but the money's probably not there. So we just appear to as I said, appear to be just stuck in this cycle. And
I know what you mean. I know what you mean by stuck in the cycle. It's like the same thing over and over again, isn't it? And then like there's a little uptick in performances and form, and then everyone gets excited again, but then the same problems start to set in, and then you're just like back where you were, back to square one without a trophy, and everyone's everyone's excitement's just drained out of them. So I totally get what you're saying. So what would you do then at the end of the season? What would be your decision making?
Yeah, the $1 million question. If we don't have a trophy, if we don't have top four, Mourinho goes. If we have a trophy and have top four, maybe give him another season. He'd be asking for money again, give him some money to go out and buy some players. Who those players are, I don't know. I think we've got some core problems. I think goalkeeper Lloris, I don't think he's good enough for the club anymore. He needs to go. I think another big centre half. I know we talked about Skriniar in January, whether there's money available for a 50 million centre half, I don't know. And then, another kind of attacking player in a kind of Lo Celso mould, or that kind of Eriksen creative player that can kind of sit behind and feed balls through. Again, you're looking at 70, 80 million to the prices start stacking up. And then get rid of players like Dyer, Aurier, and just have a kind of shift in personnel. That's easy for me to say. It's a kind of FIFA dream to get rid of and buy loads of players in. But I'd look at potentially a big turnover of the squad and just try and settle it down a bit. The defense and backline has to be sorted first, though, because that is a shambles.
I mean, do you think Mourinho's the man to do the rebuild? Because I get the impression he's not that kind of manager that works with, like a kind of a complete overhaul of players and bring in like newer, fresher players. He's someone that actually needs to bring in like star players. He spends a lot of money on like established players. For me, he's not the sort of person that can build it from the ground up. He's someone that like takes a good team and like brings in a few star quality players to like make them like a top team. But we need someone to really come in and like build it from the ground up, don't we?
We do. And last week, I think one of the nails in Mourinho's coffin, he said himself, he the problems he said about the players, having different players, and I just thought, God, talk about throwing your own players under the bus. Yeah, but he's not that sort of manager to build a team up. We forever at Tottenham seem to be in this transition, transition.
It's just around the corner. Success is just around the corner. Yeah, I've heard that since the early 90s.
I know, but yeah, Mourinho. Yeah, like you say, I would struggle to have the patience to see him try and turn the corner with Tottenham, because I just don't think he's that sort of manager. But then we take another step back, take a 25, 30 million hit, getting rid of him, bring in a Nagelsmann or Rodgers, I don't know, depending who we can afford and who wants to come to a club that's so kind of unsettled at the moment. It's going to be a really interesting summer. But if my one request is to the board is to sort it out early. Don't want rumours and waiting on, is he staying, is he going, which players are coming and going right until the last minute, because that would be so disruptive to the start of the season. Make it happen early, make a decision on Mourinho early, get the new person in, give them a decent part of the pre-season, sort out the money. I know it's easy for me to say, but just do the stuff early rather than let it linger throughout the summer. I've got a feeling now that the Kane rumours are going to ramp up even more. We're probably in a fairly fortunate position in the pandemic that people don't want to pay high prices, but when you've got people like PSG and City who are kind of funded by state kind of countries that have got endless money, it's going to be difficult to hold on to him. And without Champions League or any kind of vision, Kane has always said he wants to see a vision from Tottenham, and at the moment, I mean, I'm struggling to see a vision for Tottenham. So no matter, I can't.
I would be totally fine if he left. And obviously, it'd be upsetting from a Spurs perspective, but I actually think that I would like to see him go on and like fulfill his destiny. I really would.
Yeah, he deserves it. He's in the top 7, 8 top scorers in the Premier League now. He's Mr. Tottenham Hotspur, isn't he? If he left, like you say, I'd be devastated when he leaves, because that's one of the main reasons that I go and watch Tottenham, because of Harry Kane. He is Mr. Tottenham. He rallies the team, defends the team, and he's always up for the fight. But the players and the managers around him have let him down year on year, and it is like you say, it's painful to see now, to see him be let down every year. He deserves to go to a club. I don't want to see him go to a club in the Premier League, abroad maybe. It'd be horrible to see him put on a United or City jersey, for example. But he deserves better at this stage, because at the moment we're a meddling kind of mid-table team, and that's where no one really wants to be. And without any vision or structure to the club for next season, it's going to be the same again, where we're promise early on in November time, and we get all excited, and then by the time January and February comes around and we're knocked out the FA Cup and struggling to hold on to Europa League place, he's not going to put up for it for too much longer. He's got ambitions. He is the best striker in the world, and he's proven that again this season. Top assists, top goals. He's overcome the injury problems that people had doubted him about, and I love him as a player, but we've let him down this season, and
God, it feels like someone's just died, doesn't it? That's what it feels like at the moment.
I'd love him to stay. If he wants to get the records, and if he's interested in getting records like breaking.
I think he is, though. I've got this funny feeling that he's going to do a Letizia. I don't think he should. I actually think that for him, if I was his advisor, I would say go on and win something, and then you can always come back and do a Teddy Sheringham. Come back after a couple of years, and then just come back if you love the club that much. But I've got this feeling as though he's going to do a Letizia and stay for his whole career. I don't think that would be right for him, but I've got this feeling that he's so comfortable with the whole setup with the club, not with where we're going as a club, but I mean, the fact that he's a local lad, he's a family boy, he lives around the corner.
Well,
I can't see him completely upending everything and going to Paris. Can you?
I can't, no. And you're right. Whenever he's a local lad, and whenever I hear him talk, he sounds like he just gets the club and knows what the fans want to hear, and some of that might be PR sort of speak, but he gets it. He is Mr. Tottenham, and he seems kind of speaking for him. He does seem settled and whatever in kind of in the club, but yeah, we've let him down. And if he does go, then I won't hold any grudges with him, and good luck to him. And I hope he does win trophies. Obviously, if they're playing Spurs in the final, then I hope not. But yeah. I mean, maybe in the Euros he might win it with England, and then
then we might feel all right. Then we feel like
then he might feel right. That might be our one get-out clause.
It's so sad, isn't it? It's so typical of Spurs. It's like we actually found the next Alan Shearer, and we still couldn't do anything with him. That's just like so Spursy, isn't it? I mean, we had the like we had that like one in like 1,000, 1 in a million. You know, like being able to have Harry Kane coming through in his prime for all those years, and he's loyal and he's dedicated. All he needs to see is a little bit of vision, and then we totally let him down.
That's it. I mean, if he goes and we start the season without a Harry Kane type figure in the team, that goals and assist hole is huge. I mean, who in the team's going to step up? Realistically.
I mean, I've got a lot to say on that. I do think there is life after Harry Kane, like in the same way there was life after Gareth Bale, you know?
Yeah.
But I think you have to, it does take a while, and it does take a certain amount of remolding, rebuilding. And it has to sort of you have to completely freshen up the front line. And, you know, the same thing happened when Man United lost Van Nistelrooy. They actually looked a better team without him, believe it or not. And it kind of gave license to other players to kind of step up. But I think it will hit us. If we lose Kane, it's going to hit us for the next couple seasons after this. And then it will slowly start to acclimatise. But anyway, Matt, thanks, man. Very honest summary of what's going on.
Yeah,
it was a very sobering dissection of what's going on.
It will get better. I mean, it will get better. And there's light at the end of the tunnel. We will be in the stadium soon. We'll be singing in China with a few cans of Beavertown or whatever it is, and it will get better. I promise you.
It sounds a little bit like when you're coaching your mate out of a bad breakup. You're like, don't worry, man. Like the time is a healer. Things get better.
It will. I hope so. Yeah.
All right, dude. All right. Thanks for coming on, Matt. Appreciate that. Let's have you on again soon. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope so. Thank you. Bye.
Cheers, mate. Bye.